Alright, so I started off this vlog talking about how you need to get colored tape to do lightsabers properly, but then because of the lighting conditions at Megan's place, we actually didn't need to use the tape, but because I started, I'm going to show you what the tape was for. So what you would normally do is you would take your lightsaber and then take the blue tape and just tape the entire blade. I only did a little piece, and then take the green tape and then make some stripes. That makes it stand out against your background, because when this thing starts moving fast, it's really easy to lose track of it when you're rotoscoping in After Effects. I'll talk about that later. But you can kind of see how against this bright background, you might lose the clear-ish blade, but when you have the blue and green, it's easy to keep track of. But yeah, we actually didn't need to use it because of the, like I said, the lighting. We were able to use the glowing part of the blade to do some interesting things that fix problems like when the lightsaber goes behind people. So usually that's a hard thing to deal with, but it made it a lot easier. And if you've ever wanted to do lightsabers, you're in luck, because I'm going to show you how you can use a glowing blade to make your life a lot easier. So we're going to hop over to After Effects.
There's a ton of tutorials that tell you the basics about how to do lightsabers. I'm just going to do one aspect of it. So if you want to put it into a bigger context, there's links to the 2 tutorials I refer to from way back in the day when I started doing this. The link to those tutorials are in the description below. But one thing he doesn't quite cover is what to do when the lightsaber goes behind somebody. So typically what you do when you rotoscope a lightsaber, you trace over it with a mask, and then you just use keyframes to follow it throughout your video. But this goes behind Adam's face. So the generic thing to do would be to start making another mask around his face, and then you have to keyframe that and then set it to subtract. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but that would just take a very long time. And the point of this little bit is to teach you how to do stuff smarter, but not harder. So looking at this image, I can tell I have an opportunity to work with. The lightsaber blade, as I mentioned before, is very bright, especially that it's turned on. And you know what? We lucked out because our background is very bright. So what we can do is actually duplicate our bottom layer, which is just the footage of Adam, and go to color correction, tint it, and then color correction, curves. So what we're doing is we're making a matte. So we're going to crush the darker parts of the image, like so, and then do the opposite, bring the whites way up. And we're just going to increase that contrast until we basically have black and white. So now you can see we have just black where Adam is, and then everything else is just white. And we're just going to do a quick garbage mask around him. And garbage mask means basically you're not doing this to be perfect, you just need it to be generically in the right spot. And we'll follow him. And just for good measure, we'll feather it a couple of pixels. I just hit MM right there. And we're going to place this above the white solid, which I'm going to name Saber Core. I'm going to turn the bottom layer off so you can see what I'm doing. If I turn the lightsaber core off and turn on the transparency, you can see we have white and black. Now, if we go back up here, go to obsolete, or depending on how old your version of After Effects is, keying, but in my version it's under obsolete. I'm going to go to Luma key, key out brighter. Now the white is completely gone, we just have the black. And then we put that over the saber core, and that perfectly covers up the white lightsaber core without us having to trace around Adam's head. You should definitely go watch those tutorials I linked to below, because they talk to you about how to make the glow using a series of adjustment layers or duplicated saber core layers, so it's a nice gradual glow. But since they do a good job of telling you how to do that, I'm just going to skip a couple steps. I hope you can fill in the blanks when you watch those tutorials. I prepped a comp before. I'm just going to cut these layers and then paste it above this background layer, but beneath these adjustment layers. If you go and watch that tutorial I just mentioned, it'll all make sense. And set the top layer to screen. You can see the glow. It is white. We'll just go to color correction, color balance, move the midtones and highlights for red all the way up. Preserve luminosities on. We want to kind of add some contrast to this glow. Go to color correction levels. I'm going to solo this lightsaber layer so you can see how it's kind of flat and it doesn't really quite dissipate right. Go to the gamma, make it 0.5, boom, it's much more intense. And that is how you hide lightsabers behind people's head.
All right, that is everything you need to know to make lightsabers. I got some links for stuff that I mentioned to learn the rest down in the description below. Check those out. If you have any questions you want me to answer, leave them in the comments below. And if you like this vlog, like it. Hey, it was an amazing time directing that video for Strawberry 17. So Megan, everybody, it was great to work with y'all. It was a huge honor. And if you guys watch this vlog because you came over from Megan's channel, hi, welcome to Hyperdrive Pictures. My name's Steven Zurita. Here we're about two things. One, using the nerdy things we all love to become a better person. That could be learning how to do your favorite special effects from your favorite movies like lightsabers and Star Wars, or that could mean learning the lessons that your favorite heroes learned. So maybe you want to be more like Luke Skywalker because he's a good guy. Well, I'm going to kind of dissect what that means. The other thing we're about is taking people out from under the rock. We have a podcast where we take those kinds of movies that everybody's talked about but we all haven't seen, and we watch them as a group, and we take all of us and hopefully you guys, our viewers, out from under the rock so we all watch more great movies and learn a little bit more about the classics of cinema. So if you're interested in any of those things, you guys should subscribe to our channel. We do 3 videos a week, vlog like this, the From Under a Rock podcast, and then use a variety video on Saturday. That could be an interview, a skit, something related to making those nerdy passions make us better people. If you're a fan of Star Wars, you might be a fan of the film Alien. We're reviewing that on the podcast this week. It came out a couple years after Star Wars. And you notice I'm wearing a Power Rangers shirt. We have an interview with the guy who played Zordon in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That comes out on Saturday. So like I said again, subscribe so you don't miss that. Welcome again to our channel. It was great having you watch our video. May the 4th be with you. And like we like to end every episode on Hyperdrive, punch it.